Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. It is officially December. Oh my god, it's December. That means it is officially Christmas time. One of my favorite times of the year. Basically, actually, like the whole last 3 months of the year are my favorite. I love October because I love Halloween. I love November because I love Thanksgiving and getting to see my family. And I love December because Christmas, and I just really love Christmas lights, and I just love the whole holiday mood. Even though I am one of those people that I do not start getting festive for Christmas until literally the day after Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving, I pull out my first Christmas sweater. Anyway, so today's video is my November wrap up. I completed 4 books in November. 3 of them I was actually technically in the middle of already. So I only read 1 complete book in November, but still I'm really proud of this, especially since November was a really busy heavy month with schoolwork and work and everything. So let's jump into this. The first book I finished in November was A Mighty Long Way by Carlotta Walls Lanier. I've talked about this book quite a few times. I've talked about it in my last wrap up. I talked about it in my vlog for the reading challenge thing. And so even though I've talked about this several times already, I will give you a brief description. This book is a true life tale. It is a nonfiction book, which completes my challenge for read a nonfiction book this year. Go me. Centering around Carlotta was one of the Little Rock Nine, for those of you who don't know, who aren't from the States, or not really just not from the States, because I honestly didn't really know much about this, even though I live in the States, and I do live in the South, which is where this took place. They were the first 9 black students to enter Little Rock Central High School, which originally was an all-white school, to desegregate it, and there was a lot of problems with it. A lot of people didn't want black and white students going to school together, and all of this stuff, and this just entails Carlotta's 3 years at the high school, how awful it was, how mean people were, and it just really shows you how nasty people can be, and it was really heartbreaking. But I definitely suggest people should read it, especially if you want to get some more of a feel of what it was like during the civil rights movements for African Americans, and I totally loved it. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I finished the anthology of Slasher Girls and Monster Boys by a bunch of different authors. This is 14 classic tales with brand new nightmare twists. Basically, each author wrote a type of thrillery, I guess, creepy, scary story, and then at the end of each story it told where they took their inspirations from, and a lot of them are really cool. I have to say I was pretty disappointed in this because I was expecting to be completely blown away, and honestly I only really liked about 3, maybe 4 of the stories in here. The rest were just kind of or I didn't understand because I feel it wasn't fleshed out enough in the short amount of pages it was in. I feel some of these stories could have done really well had they been fleshed out into a full novel and I got a better understanding of what was going on. So yeah, but only 3 or 4. I really, if you've read this, I honestly super loved the Alice in Wonderland take one with the March Hare. Oh my god, that was so great. It's probably one of my favorites in this entire anthology. So creepy. It was done so perfectly well. I loved the dual perspectives of she's 8 in initially when she meets the March Hare, and then when she's 16 or 18 and she finds the March Hare again. I just loved it. It was so creepy. It was so well done. I loved it. I would love to see that as a real fleshed out story because it was so good. And then the other one I really liked was Hide and Seek. And Hide and Seek was absolutely amazing. A girl plays hide and seek with death, and if she wins, she gets to live. If not, then, she's dead. But it was done really well, and I really liked it, and I just love this. And I think overall this got a 3 star because there were quite a few stories that were, I rated most of them 3 stars. There were, it's 1 or 2, maybe 3, 4 stars, and then 3 or 4, 5 stars other than that. It was okay. Honestly, I was really disappointed with this. The next book I finished, which this is the only book I completely read in November, was Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This book was amazing. I have been meaning to read Clockwork Angel forever. I've been saying it since I finished City of Lost Souls, is that number 6? I think so. City of Lost Souls, and then City of Heavenly Fire came out not too long after I finished, but I was like, everybody's like, don't read it if you haven't read The Infernal Devices because there's spoilers. So I didn't read it because I hadn't read Infernal Devices, but I kept telling myself I was going to read it. And so finally, as part of the readathon that I was participating in, I picked this up as like the last book, and I totally thought, I picked it up like the day before the readathon ended, and I totally thought I would be able to finish it because I was already like halfway through the book at that point. But then I worked at a festival all day and it was freezing cold, and I came home with a headache and I read like 20 pages and then I couldn't read anything else. So I didn't finish it. But this book was absolutely amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. For those of you who don't know, which I think a lot of people know because I know Shadowhunters is like a really big, really popular world that everybody loves, and I love it. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But The Infernal Devices is the prequel series to the Mortal Instruments. This is set in 1800s London. Very interesting. I really love the setting. I love the characters. I just really loved being back in the Shadowhunter world, and especially with a new setting, I think it was really great, and I loved it. And I love these characters, and I can definitely see why everybody prefers the Infernal Devices to the Mortal Instruments. I have a book talk over this actually, so I will link that down below so you can go hear all of my thoughts on it. But this was 5 out of 5 stars, and I loved it so much, and I can't wait to finish Clockwork Prince. And the final book I finished in November was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Can I just get like a round of applause for this? Because I've been reading this book forever, like for freaking ever. Oh my god! My cat just decided to make an appearance and scare the crap out of me. I've been reading this since, I mean, I guess it hasn't been that long, but it feels like so long. I think I've been reading this since like August, maybe. I don't really remember. I had some problems with this book, particularly like literally the first half of this book. It takes forever to get through, and I was just so tired of reading them running and running and running. I'm like, when are we gonna get to some action? Like, I need some action here. Like, you're making me not want to finish this. And then on top of that, besides it being super slow and taking forever to get anywhere, I already knew the ending because everybody has, because Harry Potter is almost as old as I am, or I guess I'm almost as old as Harry Potter. That's really creepy to think about. So I have a bunch of Harry Potter friends, so I kind of knew the ending. I knew everybody who died except for one character that my roommate told me about, like, while I was in the middle of one of the other books, and I like was like, oh my god, I love this character so much, and then she's like, oh, they die, and I had no idea they were gonna die, and yeah, so it was heartbreaking. So obviously I knew everybody who died, all my favorite characters are dead, and I hate life. But this book was honestly really good. I loved, like, once it got to the action part, the second half of the book, I was so drawn in, and I was like, I have to finish, I gotta know what happens, like, I gotta see it. And so I did, and I didn't expect myself to cry. Surprisingly, for the amount that I cry during movies, like, I literally cry at almost any movie I watch. Doesn't matter what movie it is. I don't know what it is. My hormones are just like way out of balance. It's whatever. So, but I don't cry when I read normally. Like, it has to be something super like emotionally impactful to make me cry. And even then, that's very slim. Like, I can name like maybe 2 books that have made me cry. And particularly if I know an ending to a book, I'm not like super emotionally invested that it's gonna make me cry. This book made me cry. I'm not gonna lie. And I was not expecting to cry since I knew the ending. I knew my favorite characters were going to die. And so I felt like I was prepared for it. But I wasn't. Because when I got to that scene, I cried. And then the scene in the forest, when Harry's going to Voldemort, and you know, that stuff happens, I cried too. I was crying so hard, and then I finished the book, and then I realized I had to go to work, and so I sounded super sick my entire shift because I'd been crying so much. I love this. Definitely not my favorite book, I'd have to say. I've said it in some of the other videos. I'm really at a tie for either Prisoner of Azkaban or Order of the Phoenix as my favorite Harry Potter novel. I'm not sure which one. Like, they're both up there and I love them so much, but I can't choose. This is probably my least favorite just because it took me so long to get through. The beginning is so slow. And I mean, I know it has to be slow because of what happens. It's like building the intensity and, you know, getting everything set up for the ending, but still. Oh my god. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, which is a lot different than the 5 out of 5 stars I've given all of the other books. So those are the books I finished in November, and now on to the 2 books I'm currently in the middle of. I was like so proud of myself after I finished Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna finally stop being in the middle of like 4,000 different books and, you know, it'll be great. But then I've realized lately that I am not the kind of person to read a book all the way through. If I feel like I'm not feeling it or I want to read something else, I'm gonna put it down and start another book. And like, that's okay. I know everybody, like a bunch of people do that, and I personally like it because then it's like I don't get like super bored and get in a reading slump. But at the same time, I still hate it because then I have like this giant stack of like half-read books on my nightstand, and then it's like, but like, you know, millions of other books to read. But I did it again to myself, needless to say, so now I hate myself even more. But the first book I picked up and started reading was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. I am currently 97 pages in. I didn't even reach page 100 before I switched books, which I'm like, and it's not because I'm not enjoying it. I am definitely enjoying it. Like, Jem is my baby, and I love them. I love him so much. But I was on Facebook because I have a strange Facebook addiction, and I don't know why. I'm like a suburban mom, I guess. But I was going on my Facebook and I came across a movie trailer and I watched it, and as soon as I watched it, it made me really want to read the book because I own the book, and I thought it was coming out a lot sooner than it was, and then at the end it's like, coming out in March of 2018, and I'm like, well, I still have time, but I really want to read it now. So I put down Clockwork Prince, and I will get back to it. But I picked up Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. And in November, I only read like the first chapter because I had papers due and other projects to do that prohibited me from reading because, you know, school comes first, and I also had work, so yeah. But I only read the first chapter. So far, I'm currently way farther in than that. And I'm using a pin as a bookmark because I don't know where all my other bookmarks are. I think they're all in use in my books, actually. So far, I'm liking it. I think Simon's really funny. Not super crazy with the writing style, not gonna lie. I can see why a lot of people like it, but it's not just so pow in my face. Like, everybody's talking like, oh my god, I love this book. Like, I like it. Like, it's not bad, but I mean, I'm only like currently 50 pages in, so I'm not going to make too much of a judgment right now because I'm like, I haven't really gotten a complete feel for the book. But yeah, I definitely would like to say I love all the Harry Potter references in this book so far because Harry Potter's life. Alright, so that is it for my November wrap-up. If you've read any of these books or you were interested in reading any of these books, let me know down below. I'd love to chat up with you guys in the comments. And, oh, let me also know down in the comments, what is your favorite Christmas song? Because mine would definitely have to be His Favorite Christmas Story by Capital Lights. Like, I will link that down below for you guys to go check out. It's an amazing Christmas song. I love it. I wrote a short story to it a couple years ago. And, yeah. Alright, that's just how much I loved this song. And that's gonna be it. So, if you want to friend me or follow me or whatever, it's totally cool with me. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And, oh, I recently got back into my Bookstagram, and pretty proud of the way stuff is turning out, so that's linked down below too, so you should totally check it out. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!